welcome back to the series of Is This Game Any Good? Now, The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. This game definitely is a very interesting game. Honestly, for me, this is a game that I say, hey, this is The Legend of Zelda, due to the map being pretty much what you expect from Hyrule looking like. And it kind of makes me wish that having a 3D game with this map would be really cool. But overall, this definitely is a very unique game, with a core gimmick being able to go between walls, which is really cool. And not only can you go between the walls, but you can also go between the worlds, with special little rainbow cracks that appear after passing a certain point in the game. Also, your enemy is a witch that turns people into paintings, which is a very interesting thing. But when you think about it, this overall is what sets the foundation for a great Legend of Zelda game. You don't want something too simple, you don't want something too extreme. This is a little bit of both. Of course, you got the witch that turns people into paintings, but the gameplay itself is pretty standard when you look at the Legend of Zelda. But that's not the only thing that we gotta say here about this game. The dungeons themselves, my golly, these ones are actually good. The puzzles inside the dungeons are really intuitive to what you're doing in this dungeons. Maybe you have just a standard water dungeon where you're doing this, but you also have to use a boomerang or something to get special little items, which is really a unique way to look at the Legend of Zelda. And some items are not completely locked to you across the game. You don't have to go to one dungeon, get yourself the item that you're looking for, and then move on to the next dungeon. You actually get to pay for your items with rubies, which I really like that about this game. Because being able to just have a boomerang right off the bat, hey, that's perfect. If you want a bow and arrow, there you go. But also, this has a very weird and cool mechanic, I would say. You have that more sense of, man, if I lose these items, Ravio is going not to be happy. He's going to take them away from me, and then I'm going to have to go and buy them all over again. But it's usually about 10th the price than what you were to pay. You can buy the entire item if you want to, if you're really digging into that combat system and you're losing a lot of gems by having to go and buy all your items once again. So this definitely is a very interesting gimmick, and honestly I just really like this gimmick. You can just buy all the items right off the bat. Do you want a frost one? There you go. Do you want a fire one? There you go. You can just buy whatever one you want, and honestly it's really cool. There's only one that is locked behind a dungeon, and that is the sand one. You have to go and save a guy that's holding the rented sand one, and then eventually you get to buy that, and then you get to make your way to the desert dungeon. This doesn't really affect the story in a way, I would say. You don't really need this sand wand to just play around with, because to only access the desert area, you have to go and get a whole bunch of different things. So that's the one area that in the game that you can't just pick what dungeon you want to go first. You have to go do a whole bunch of stuff before you can enter the desert temple. So overall, that is very cool. Traveling between worlds is definitely a unique mechanic. Like, honestly, traveling between worlds works so seamlessly. You see the light and the dark world, which honestly, these two worlds look like really great. They're separated in a way, but you can go from the light world and be like, I remember being at this place, and then go to the dark world. Why is there a random crater in the middle of the open? See, these worlds are definitely very separated. There's going to be cracks that spawn everywhere across your land. So to only get to the dark world, you have to go from the light world's part of entrance point. Because, like I mentioned, there is cracks separating all these worlds, which is like really cool, because the dark world doesn't really want you to go and traverse the land freely. It really wants you to struggle, eh? But overall, it's something really interesting. The Master Sword is really good. Like, not only does the Master Sword shoot beams, but it can actually be upgraded in a new way. So instead of, if you were to say Master Sword upgrade, like Tears of the King or Breath of the Wild, now this is kind of true. It does do more damage, but also the color palette changes. So once you do a little bit of ore, you put a little bit of ore inside of this sword, well, the first upgrade is red instead of a white blade or a silver blade. Then you get enough, I believe it's 8 ore, Then you get a gold sword, which the gold sword looks really, really good with the blue tunic. You really match, and it just looks so good. And honestly, you just play through the entire game with the blue tunic most of the time anyways. So, yeah, no, these two things look really, really good together. You don't even have to pick up the red tunic if you don't want to. It's at the end dungeon. So, hey, if you want to play the entire game with the blue tunic, you can play the entire game with the blue tunic. That's usually what I'd like to do, just play the entire game with the blue tunic. But overall, enough being said with tunics. The music. Now, the music in this game really is good. It actually is a masterpiece when it comes to music. There's only another Legend of Zelda game that I usually like to get up and do the boogie. Every single time that this music comes on, I'm always like, oh my goodness, I gotta do it. But then when it comes to other music, they're all good. The Legend of Zelda music is good as a whole. But other ones, it's just like, okay, this is some good music. This is good music. Like the Skyward Sword credit scenes, I love those. And also Dragon Roost Island, of course. And then this one is Lorule's theme, which is really, really good. It's a good theme. And pretty much all of the music inside this game is actually really, really good and really well optimized to what it does. It just works good. The entire game just works good. The way that you save the day by saving people from paintings, yep, really interesting. They enter some sort of sage realm, which is really cool. And honestly, it makes you wonder, what other ways could they take The Legend of Zelda? This definitely is a great representation of a 2D game. Could it even be the best 2D game? Could they make a 3D game out of this one? Because that would be a really, really interesting thing. What if it was open world? There was a whole bunch of questions that was entering my mind when I was looking back on this game. And really, this game is great. The dungeons, the puzzles, everything is just so good. It's so seamless. It works amazing. It does what it does. And, you know, you really just look at it and you're like, wow, these dungeons are super fun. And the boss fights itself are actually really, really good. There's a lot of bosses that you might see from other Legend of Zelda games, but this one definitely takes a spin on the boss fight. One of my favorite boss fights is definitely not the hardest one. It's probably the easiest one, the Burger Man. Now, the Burger boss fight is honestly probably your first dungeon that you're going to encounter, but my golly, this is such a good boss fight. You really try not to get knocked off the edge, and you just try to whack its tail. It's just cool. Now, this burger has been there for other Legend of Zelda games, but this one definitely is the best phase of the burger that I've seen. I just like the Burger Man. He's so great. But, yeah, all of these games, all of the Legend of Zelda games are all great. This one in particular definitely is a very, very good game. It really is. Maybe we can see it on the Nintendo Switch 1 or 2 sometime soon. Because, hey, Nintendo, could we please see it? Very, very pleased. These games are great. They're the best things ever, and I want to see it. Come on, Nintendo. But, honestly, the gameplay, everything associated to The Legend of Zelda Link to the World is great. Now, for a recap, we got people turning into paintings. We got the ability to traverse between worlds, go to the Dark World, which is really cool. You get pretty much the tutorial world, which is Hyrule. Then you get the Dark World, which is the Dark World, which everything wants to attack you, eat you, or whatever it is. It is honestly great. The Master Sword in this game really is cool. Not only do you get the ores that change the palette of the blade, but also you get beams. At full heart, the Master Sword shoots beams, which is very noticeable in the Legend of Zelda series. Every single Master Sword does shoot beams, which is pretty much part of the lore. But this one actually is good. The beam after the beam after the beam after the beam. You don't really have to click a button. You can use your Master Sword as a range weapon, which works really good. It just works really good. Also, the bosses are really good. The dungeons themselves, the puzzles, I've found myself running around in circles multiple times, trying to figure out, do I do this? Do I do this? What is going on here? How do I do this? Renting items, you can just buy every single item from pretty much the start of the game. There's not really anything negative that I want to say about this game. Maybe the one thing negative is, hey, Nintendo, where the heck is this game, man? Like, what? It's been like 10 years, 13 years? Probably going to be 13 years. Until this game, come on Nintendo, please. But overall, this game definitely is a really, really good game. Music, everything associated to The Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds is good. So if you haven't played it yet, I would highly recommend picking this game up. You're going to have a blast, especially if you like 2D Legend of Zelda games. But also, I think that I would probably place this in competitive against 3D Legend of Zelda games. Because, honestly, my top Legend of Zelda games are probably Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and then this would be like very, very close with those games. I'm not the biggest fan of any of the Legend of Zelda games, but I like all the Legend of Zelda games, if you know what I mean. These ones are just my favorite Legend of Zelda games. But yeah, this one definitely is really good. It's just one that stands above the rest. It's so good. It's so good. It takes away Link to the Past, all of the good things about A Link to the Past, and throws it onto a skewer and says, here you go. Have fun playing this game. Voila, mon ami. So anyways, what do you think about all of this Legend of Zelda things? Do you think The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, is a good game or a bad game? Do you think that Nintendo will ever bring it back to the Nintendo Switch 1 or 2? Or do you think it's going to be locked in the darkness forever? Oh, man. Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. This game is great. That being said, see you on the next one.